Hi everybody, this is Gatsad preparing to go out for some Peruvian chicken with the wife. But I just a few minutes ago I posted a realization that hit me uh, regarding my Joe Rogan episode that was deleted from Spotify, and I was trying to think to myself what could have happened that it resulted in it being deleted. Of course, given the woke calculus, anything I could have said hi or Joe could have said hello, and that could have been triggering. But then I thought about it, and then my wife told me, "Oh, I remember you telling me about this." So I'm going to read you what I wrote on social media, and then I'll comment a bit more after. Okay. So I think I might know why my episode 1218 JRE appearance was pulled by Spotify. I believe that in that particular episode, if memory serves me right, Joe had uttered the N word. I can't remember the context, but it was not in a racist manner, notwithstanding the likely minefield. Hence, rather than recognizing the context, Spotify has deemed that a singular word to be a nuclear attack, even when uttered in an utterly non racist manner. Example stating the word as part of a book's title. And it could have been exactly that. I don't remember the case, but maybe I was telling him about a story where a dean at I think Seattle University had been fired because when someone had asked her, which book they should read, she had suggested a book that had the N word as its title, as written by a black civil rights activist. I think that was the context. I can't remember, but that seems right. And I think that maybe Joe had just actually mentioned the word of the title as written by a black man who's a civil rights activist. This infantilizes human beings in a manner that is grotesque. It presumes that people are so fragile that the mere mention of that word in any context is a linguistic murder. Joe Rogan does not have a racist bone in his body. This is utter insanity. It is an affront to human decency. Anti fragility is necessary in life, as I discuss in The Parasitic Mind. Of course, anti fragility is a concept that my friend Nassim Taleb has discussed at length in one of his books. And in The Parasitic Mind, I talk about, for example, that friendship should be anti-fragile. If you and I are friends and you can't accept that I think that a particular politician is a moron, but you love that politician, if that's going to cause irrevocable damage to our friendship, then don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. As I explained in The Parasitic Mind, mieux vaut être seul que mal accompagné. Better to be alone than to be poorly accompanied. You don't need to be around friends who cannot stand the fact that you may have your own opinions on topics, right? So in this case, Joe Rogan has uttered a word that, yes, we understand the history of that word, but we also understand that many people, when I used to play soccer, used to call me sand N-word because, I was from the Middle East. Some of the ones who used to call me that were black people. So were they allowed to call me that? But I could never say something, or even if I were saying it in an affectionate way, I didn't say those words. What I'm saying is that is there no ability for grown adults to recognize the nuance of how a word is used? If you're using the N word to pejoratively insult someone, that's one thing. If you're using the N word to describe a title as told to you by a guest on your show, then maybe Spotify should have the most minimal of functioning brain and say, that doesn't seem to violate anything. It actually, in my view, it insults the dignity of black people to say that they must be so emotionally fragile that the mention of that word literally in any context is simply unacceptable. I know many black people who say they don't like that it's that, right? I mean, again, think about the world that I grew up in Lebanon. Think about what I have faced, what my family has faced in Lebanon. It's a bit more than hearing the N-word as uttered by Joe Rogan in a non-racist manner. But in today's sterile environment, no violation of the woke code of conduct must ever be breached, lest you will be cancelled. This can't be a way to organize free, enlightened societies. Life is messy. There is gray areas. There is nuance. We have the ability to attribute intent to people. This is why we have first-degree murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, even though I'm not a lawyer, I could probably talk circle around most lawyers. So again, this kind of attitude where you try to create such sterile environments so that people literally are too afraid to put one syllable in the wrong place is not how you build maximally dignified and flourishing societies. It's unsustainable. I stand with you, Joe Rogan. You've got 100 million reasons why you shouldn't care. But more than that, you shouldn't care because, as I said, you're hardly a racist guy. You have nothing to apologize for. Yes, I get it. I didn't see all the context in which you've used the N-word, and maybe you've used it in the wrong context. But certainly when it came to the context in our conversation, while I don't remember the details and I don't have access to that show, I certainly don't remember that it was anything that was nefarious. So I stand with you, buddy. Cheers.